We're trying to fix our NHS from the ground up because it's hard, because it's the right thing to do. So if you're criticised over things that the Labour government has done, or if we feel like sometimes we're not achieving things as quickly as we would like, or if there's challenges or problems, we should remind ourselves that being in government is hard. But you know what's harder? Watching powerless for 14 years while the Tories ruin our country. That is much harder. So I thank you all for everything that you're doing to keeping us together whilst we have to take hard decisions. That said, let me leave you with this. It is a hard road to travel being in government, and Councillor Siraj and all of those who are candidates next year will have to craft good policies that we can put in front of people so that in Tower Hamlets we can have a good Labour Council to take the right decisions as well. But the reason we put ourselves through it, the reason we do the hard things, is because it's worth it. And I want to just take you on a little journey to a place I haven't been to yet, but I think a few people in the room know about, and that is Poplar Harker. So, yeah, there's lots of nodding in the room, right? Now, I'm going to tell you a little story. I'm the Minister for Employment, right? I'm the Minister for Job Centres. Anyone been in a job centre recently? That is the most common response that you get. Our job centres, the places that the government set up to help people move into work, is the most unloved public service. You know, people feel there's a stigma going along to the job centre, and I think a lot of people question whether you can get real help there. But recently, I went to one of our job centres in East London, and I met some of our DWP work coaches. And they told me with absolute gusto about the work that they're doing in Tower Hamlets. Because the Labour government is already changing things for people in communities like this. We're innovating. We're not just having our work coaches sit in job centres anymore, but rather they're getting out to communities and working hand in hand. I'm the Labour Member of Parliament for Birkenhead. Anybody ever been to Birkenhead? Have you been to Labour Party conference in Liverpool? Yes, right. Imagine you're stood with your back to the conference centre, gaze over the River Mersey, look at the ferries going past. That is Birkenhead, that's where I'm from. And I lived in London for 10 years of my life, so I feel pretty much at home here, but I thought, what am I going to talk to everybody in Tower Hamlets about tonight? And I was a bit worried about it in the office before, and I was saying to my team, what am I going to talk to them in Tower Hamlets about tonight? And one of my cheeky officials looked up and said, Ali, just do what you normally do and talk about the football. Thank you, Councillor Siraj. It is a pleasure to be here this evening, and not just because I find myself amongst true-hearted friends. Not just because, as Jurgen Klopp said, I find myself amongst believers, not doubters. Sorry, Andrew actually supports Manchester City. Oh man, and I know we've got some Arsenal fans in tonight as well, right? I can't bring myself to say anything about Arsenal because I'm too nervous now after the weekend. Anyway, but the main reason that I came here tonight was not to talk about the football, love it though we do. It was to say thank you. Because for 14 years, Rushnara and I sat on the opposition benches in the House of Commons and watched, powerless, as the Tories ruined our country. We watched them do it. Rushnara and I arrived in the House of Commons on the same day in 2010, and not everything was perfect, but child poverty was not at 4.3 million. Our NHS waiting lists were not through the roof. And our schools, by and large, imperfect though it was, had enough money to get by. And Washanara and I were absolutely powerless as brick by brick, piece by piece, the Tories took many of our achievements apart. And last year, in 2024, Each and every person in this room who campaigned to get a Labour government helped put it right. And the reason I really wanted to come to Tower Hamlets tonight was to say a very, very special thank you to you here. Because many people across the country fought hard. But I don't think there's anybody. Well, firstly, I want to say a massive tribute to Rushnara Ali, because I don't think there's anybody who had to deal with some of the stuff that she's done. But I think this Labour Party is equal to any in the country in the effort that was put in the political arguments that were made, in the leaflets that were delivered, in the shoe leather that was expended. I know what a shift you put in, and that's why I wanted to come here and say thank you tonight. Because you did that, as Andrew explained, we're able to take decisions day in, day out that will make lives better for the people that we represent. And in my own area of responsibility, we are legislating to make sure that more than 1 million people who do not have access to sick pay at work will get it. And I ask you to cast your mind back who were on the front line of the pandemic, who couldn't work from home, who didn't have nearly enough protections. I remember care workers in my own constituency having to use bin liners for PPE. And many of those people, the lowest paid in this country, don't even have sick pay. Well, we are paying our debt. We are paying our debt. We've got a Labour government, and we're going to give 1 million people sick pay who deserve to have it. And that's just one thing that we're able to do, because everybody in this room put a shift in and re-elected Rushnara and Uma and all of the other Labour MPs who can charge through the voting lobbies to vote for those things. So I wanted to say a massive thank you to you. Every decision we take in government is a tribute to your efforts, so thank you for that.